I got people telling me 220 isn't even believable.
Yeah, well, I would agree with that, and the multiple concerns me. The multiple has already contracted nearly 25%, which is in line with the 12 historical recessions since World War II. So you've had the multiple contraction. I'm not sure how we get the multiple to expand out once again. I would disagree with that premise.
Well, I mean, their earnings premise is what everything comes down to, right? You're about to have earnings season. What if earnings? The biggest question is how much do earnings need to come down? Expectations. The market, as you said, multiples have come down. Earnings expectations largely have not met the come down in multiples. So how much do they need to come down?
Well, I think the problem is going to be the dollar, the U.S. dollar. How many more companies beyond Microsoft, Biogen, Costco, Hewlett-Packard, Salesforce are going to have to warn about the negative impact of currency? And I don't think anyone, and I've traded currencies, can really understand where the ceiling is going to be for the U.S. dollar. I think that's the biggest challenge that corporations, in particular multinationals, are going to have. Now, to sprinkle in a little optimism, Samsung's report was pretty good this morning.
That's why the chips, I mean, maybe that's not the only reason, but the chips were rallying pretty good off of that. But let me go back to this tech thing you're talking about with currency. These growth stocks in tech have been incredibly reactive to rates. Rates had been down, tech stocks and growth had been going up. Maybe too much so, because of the very reason you just said. Technology is the group, but first of all, it's the largest group in the S&P, right? And it's the group that's most susceptible to the rise in the dollar because of the amount of earnings that they get from overseas. Why isn't the market focused on that?
So it's interesting. We sat here a couple of weeks ago with Adam Parker, and Adam said something that really was brilliant. He basically said, so you have to raise rates enough to where you're going to have to cut them at some point. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. But in reality, what he's saying is correct. And I think we have to begin to think, what if the Federal Reserve is actually doing what they are intending to do, which is weaken demand? If that clearly is going to be the case, and we are going to have a very challenged economic environment as you move forward for the remainder of the year, you're almost going to have to seek shelter in a lot of those names, like Alphabet, like Microsoft, like Alphabet, like Apple, and you could expand that even further to an Adobe and some other names in technology.
So speaking of other names in technology, I was very surprised.
Why?
Yesterday when I heard that you got back into NVIDIA.
I did.
You know, one of these highest of high-flying growth stocks at one point got cut in half. Mm-hmm. I thought that was very interesting that you decided to get back in now, and that made me wonder whether it's a bigger picture story of stocks have come down enough. Valuations in some respects have reset enough that somebody like you says, you know what, this is a poster child for once high-flying and highly valued tech, and now it's come down enough, maybe I need to look elsewhere for opportunities that are similar.
So I sold NVIDIA on May 12th. My semi-exposure was through AMD and NVIDIA. I reduced that on May 12th. Why? I had concerns after CPI that the Federal Reserve did not have a handle on the need to be aggressive enough. I believe the Federal Reserve has a handle on that now. We are, Scott, in my view, in the midst of a valuation recession. That, to me, is clearly evident. On Monday, you had NVIDIA make a 52-week low. The valuation reset, I know Stephen Weiss, who I spoke about on Monday afternoon.
He said today on halftime he wouldn't buy it. In fact, if anything, he'd sell it.
We said the same thing offline on Monday. Okay, but the valuation reset is from a 90 PE down to a 40 PE. I'm comfortable owning this company. I'm comfortable owning NVIDIA. I'm not going to trade it.